Welcome to your Pilates reformer workout. Today we're going to be doing a full body workout on the reformer with extra emphasis on glutes and abs. I'm going to try to keep this to about 20 minutes today, give or take a couple minutes. We will start on 3 heavy springs and 1 light spring, or 3 reds and 1 blue on balanced body, which is what I have here. Headrest will start down. Meet me lying down on the machine. We will get started. And if you are not yet subscribed, please subscribe. It's silly not to. And if you are not yet a member, please consider joining my membership. You will find an exclusive library of over 40 workouts that only members can access, weekly workout plans, earliest access to the main channel videos. It's a whole thing. You should check it out. All right, lying down on the machine, we're gonna put our feet wide on the foot bar. So heels or arches on the outer corners. We will find a neutral pelvis. If you have not yet heard my extended spiel on this, what we're going to do is make sure we bring the bottom of the sacrum heavy to the mat. So we've got this natural curve and the low back and ribs come down. So I'm not arching through the back. I've got a neutral spine. Arms will start down. Give yourself a little bit of room away from the shoulders and the shoulder blocks. We're going to find a little pelvic lift and lower. So we're keeping the spine in neutral. We're not curling it under and tilting the pelvis. We're just lifting the bottom up about a fist distance away from the mat and lowering down. Seems pretty easy, right? But I'll move my arms up so you can see what's happening. Once you really key into the core work here, which is what we want to do, you'll start to feel tension building between the hip bones. You'll get that deep core work, which you may not care about if you have not dealt with ab separation or you haven't learned much about the various ab muscles, which I don't blame you. But that is the corset layer of your abdominals. So that's what holds your whole trunk together. It's what holds your stomach in. It's what provides support to your spine. So as much as you can feel that pulling together and wrapping of those deep muscles, especially right in between your hip bones, the better off you're going to be. So you're welcome to keep your arms down. I just lifted mine up for visibility, but I kind of like this too. Let's hold at hip height. Still the neutral spine, not tucked under, not arched. Tiny pulses up and down. Again, activate that tension between your hip muscles. Let's go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, equal pressure in both feet, 3, keeping this quite low, 2, and 1. Back to that fist distance above the mat. Check your height if you need to. Press out, extend the legs long, bend the knees, return the carriage home slowly with control. Still keeping that same height up above the mat. Of course, on this one, you're likely to get more glutes, more hamstrings, some inner thighs here. We still want to feel that wrapping together, that corseting of your core muscles. The back of your neck is long. Your job is to keep this core nice and stable. Good. Let's take a few more. Finding that full long extension as best as you can. And 1. Bring it halfway home. Tiny pulses up and down, moving the carriage in and out. Let's go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Deep breath in, exhale, extend all the way out. Big breath in, bring it all the way in. Close the stopper, lower your hips down to the mat. Next, sit on up. Let's remove 1 heavy spring so that we're on 2 heavies, 1 light. For me, that's 2 reds, 1 blue. Come back to lying down on the reformer. We will go for bridge variations. Now, you're welcome to bring the balls of the feet to the foot bar with the heels lifted for this one. If you'd like a less taxing option, most likely less taxing, you're welcome to bring the arches of the feet down. Give yourself some room between the shoulders and the shoulder blocks. Now let's find our articulated bridge, rolling up 1 bone at a time, trying to keep the carriage as still as possible, leg through the neck as you get up. Roll down 1 bone at a time. So if you're used to doing bridges with the arches on, which I typically do on this channel, this may feel like a very different experience. Check to see if you're pressing much more in one foot versus the other. If you've got one hip that's sort of bobbling or hanging out, it's It's okay if that's happening, but we definitely want to take stock, and as we go for our next variations, see if we can equalize that a little bit. What I encourage you do is try to find a little bit more pressure through that opposite foot. So what that means is if I'm rolling up and I feel like my right side is lagging, I'm going to push a little bit more into that right foot. So I guess I should have said the same side. Let's keep it going. One more after this. And again, also I extended my arms up for visibility. You're welcome to do that for a little bit of a challenge with less stabilization. Let's take pulses up and down, hips lower and left for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift, hip dips, right hip down and lift, left hip down and lift. If you did my last video last week, you probably remember these. A little bit of a different sensation once we have the heels lifted with the toes on the bar. And if you want to, you can extend the arms up as well. Your choice. But again, our goal is to keep the stable hip right where it is and the dropping hip pivot down. Once you find it, I'm going to take a few reps to really isolate. You will feel the muscles surrounding your hip bones really fire on. And of course, hamstrings and glutes too. 2 more each side. If you feel it in your low back, bring your tailbone under just a little bit. Lift, big breath in, exhale, roll it down. Close the stopper if the carriage got away. Walk your feet as wide as the foot bar. Rock your knees side to side. Give yourself a little bit of a release through the low back. And when you're ready, we're going to bring the toes back to the foot bar and we're going to move a little bit. So balls of the feet to the bar again. Heels lifted. Give yourself some room away from the shoulder blocks. Arms by your sides. Roll up. We're going to hold that bridge, length through the back of the neck. Press the carriage out. Bend the knees. Feel them come on an upward diagonal as you bring it home. Press out. Hips stay high. Legs extend. Ribs sink down as you return. So I'm not collapsing through the chest, but I'm also making sure the ribs aren't popping up. Particularly if you're used to doing yoga, which has a very popped rib cage bridge. We really want to get that sense of Pilates, rib dropping and more core engagement. So we want the ribs to point toward the pelvis so we can keep all of this core work activated. Let's take 2. And last one. Good. Bring the carriage almost all the way home. Tiny pulses up and down. One more set. Let's go for 10, 9, 8. Really squeezing the glutes. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Big breath in. Exhale. Melt the spine down one bone at a time. Close the stopper. Figure 4 stretch across one ankle over the opposite knee. Hold on to your shin or your hamstring. Pull it in toward your chest. You can push away on that bent leg if you like. Let's go for the other side. Deep breath in. Exhale. Press away on that bent over leg on the top. And let's move on. All right, next you're going to lower your foot bar, or for me, I'm gonna have to remove it based on the way my model works. Flip onto one light spring or one blue spring if you're on balanced body. I'm gonna go take this out, do some movie magic, and I'll meet you back in one moment. Once that's all done, you will lie down on your side. Place your head down on your bicep, onto your hand or onto a yoga block or something where you can rest it. This strap in front of you is going to go onto the palm of your left hand. Extend your legs long, reach your hand right up to the ceiling, and we're gonna really focus on stacking the spine. So you're probably gonna default to that bottom rib sticking right up against the mat. We wanna press the top hip away, lift the bottom rib so that your spine is aligned, just like you would be if you were standing. Take a deep breath in, exhale, press through that strap. Inhale, lift it back up with control. Abs engage as you lift and lower. And up. We're going to go for 5 more. So just as we always focus on, we're going to really take care to return the carriage close to its starting position slowly with control. So it is possible to let the spring retraction do most of the work for you, but A, you lose half of the exercise, and B, in this position, it's very important that you stay stable the whole time, both for the workout and also for your safety. So really focus on taking your time on the way down, taking your time on the way up. Last one. Press that hand down. You're going to swim or scissor switch the legs, holding that hand right to your side. You're really going to have to stabilize through the core here. 4 more times. 3. Last 2. Ooh, and 1. Back to starting. Arm comes up over the shoulder. Let's try it again. Switch, switch. A little bit different, right? Very hard to keep the hips stacked. Oh, do your best to keep that hand right over the shoulder. And last one. Legs come back together. Press your hand down to your hips again. Anchor your elbow next to the waist. Bend and extend that elbow. Tricep extensions for 8. Really trying to keep that elbow planted on the side of your body. Your bottom rib is not collapsing. We've got 4 more. Last 3. Final 2. Oh, fight for it. And 1. Oh, that really got hard at the end there, didn't it? Very nice. Close the carriage. Sit on up. Let's switch to one red spring. We'll do a little bit of glute work while we're on this side before we move on to the other side. Come down to lying down once again. You're going to place that strap over your foot, over your knee, onto your thigh. If you have long loops and that works better for your body, feel free to do that. Let's place the legs into tabletop. I'm going to move my body back just a little bit. Top hand is on the mat, and again, I'm stacking my spine by pressing my top hip away, so I've got that lift under my waist. Flex your feet. Keep your hips stacked right where they are. Lift and lower the top leg for 8. 7. The carriage may move a bit, that's fine. 6. Common challenge I see with this one with clients in person is a lot of people like to rock the hips back as that knee lifts. You miss kind of the magic of the glute work for that one if you pivot the hips. So really take stock and take care to keep it right where it is and keep that bottom rib lifted for maximum engagement. And 1. This is a classic. I do it all the time. That's because it works. Hover at hip height, pulses up and down. This is 6. 5, getting to 8 in total. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lift, knee down to knee. Lift, heel to heel. Lift, knee to knee. Really pivot in the hip socket. Lift, heel to heel. Lift, knee to knee. Bottom rib stays lifted. Heel to heel. Lift, knee to knee. Lift, heel to heel. So really finding that big lift in between helps us get maximum range in our hip mobility. So this is a great one for both glute strengthening and hip mobility. That's part of why I love it so much. It's such a good compound move. As you bring that knee, make sure you don't overshoot the bottom knee. We want them to stack right on top of each other for best alignment. Good. Heel to heel, lower down. Take a quick breather. Pound out the glute if you need to, the glutes. Let's get right back into it. Flex the feet, circles. Lift to hip height. Keep that ankle flexed. Open the knee, bring it down, around, and close. By open, I just mean lift, bring it out and down while still keeping it bent at that right angle, not extending through the leg. The knee is staying bent. This is where it gets kind of brutal. I've done these I don't know how many times. They're still hard. I do get a little easier. But I get to the last couple and I wish that I weren't doing 8 of them. And that's okay. We're going to feel really stable and strong at the end of this. Reverse for 8, 7, 6. Use your breath here. Exhale as you push through that strap. 4, check in with your bottom rib. Make sure it's not collapsed down on the mat. Last 2. And one. Oh boy. Lower it down with control. Pound it out with your fists. That makes quite a noise. Let's take the strap off of the leg. We'll move on to the other side. But first, after we sit down, we're going to switch back onto that light spring so we can continue with our arm sequence. All right, we are on that blue spring, that one light spring. Once again, lie down on your side. Place that strap into your right hand this time. Legs extend out to the side, right in line with your hips. Head is resting down on the mat. Arm is right up over your shoulders. Try to get your legs stacked and your bottom ribs lifted so your spine is in a nice neutral position. Press the hand down and raise it back up. Press the hand down, raise it back up. So here you may feel like you need to readjust. That's okay. We want to stay stacked, and if you feel like you're getting pulled in a certain direction, it's worth taking a moment to stop and see if you are a little bit out of alignment. We've got 3 more. Last 2. And 1. Hold that hand down by your hip. You're going to scissor switch the legs for 8. And this may be a lot harder for you on one side than it is on the other. That is definitely the case for me. This is 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back together. Arm comes back up over your shoulder. If you need to readjust, go for it. Hand up over your shoulder. Scissor switch the legs once again. We've got 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. If you're really struggling, you can place your hand down on the rail. 2, and 1. Legs together. Press your hands down to your hips, or your hand down to your hips. Tricep extensions for 8, 7, 6. Keep that elbow tight to the body. 5. Last 4. Try to keep that bottom rib lifted. 3. Control the spring recoil. 2. Abs stay engaged. Last 1. Very good. Lift the arm, close the stopper, sit on up. Let's switch to that one heavy spring or that one red spring. Once you're on that heavy spring, get that strap, place it over your foot, over your knee, onto your thigh. I'm gonna go for my favorite glute series. Bring your spine into neutral so you're not tucked under or arched. Press the top hip away, lift the rib, knees and hips stacked, flex feet, lift and lower the top leg. We go for 8, 7, 6. Again, try not to rock back with the hips. It's going to cheat us out of the glute work. And you deserve to reap the rewards. Last 3. Final 2. And 1. Back to hip height. Hips stay stacked, ribs stay lifted, tiny pulses up and down. 6 to get us to 8. 5, 4, 3. Core stays on. 2, 1. Lift again, knee to knee. Lift, heel to heel. Lift, knee comes down to your knee. Lift, heel comes down to your heel. We've got 6. Again, really focus on the lift when you get tired. It can become a lot harder to really put in the focus on that, but it really makes a big difference in how much hip mobility work you get here. Really giving you the benefit of that internal rotation, which is underused in so much of fitness, even Pilates. 2 more. Last one. Good. Lower it down. Rest or pound out the glute if you need to. Restack the spine, restack the hips, flex the feet, lift, circles to the outside. We go for 8, 7, keeping your core on. 6, and as this really starts to burn your glutes, you start to get really tired, I really encourage you, use your breath to help you get through it. Oxygen really helps. It also, in addition to helping with sort of pain relief, Does help with core activation. Let's reverse. Push out, up and around, down, out, up and around. Check with your rib alignment. Also make sure that you're controlling the spring as that leg comes up and returns. If you're not controlling the spring retraction, you're losing that whole last bit of work there. Only 2 more. Last one. Very nice work. Lower it down. Rest, relax your spinal alignment, pound out through your glutes. When you're ready, we're going to pull forward on that strap. Take the strap off of the leg, off of the foot. Keep hold of it, rotate onto your back. Let's take a nice resisted figure 4 stretch. Push away from the sandpaper or the foot bar. Raise your left leg up over your hip, cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Bend your left leg. You can hold on to the rope if you need to. Strap can be outside or inside. I prefer inside. Get your spine into neutral so the bottom of your sacrum is heavy on the mat. Ribs heavy down. Let that spring deepen the stretch for you by pulling the carriage closer to a close. You can also choose to place your right hand on your right thigh. To deepen it out here, you can push through the strap. Find a straight leg on that left leg. Keep the heel anchored over your hip for a little bit of a hamstring stretch. Push through the strap. Place your foot down on the sandpaper on the right side. Take the strap off of the left foot. Grab the right strap into your right hand. Place it onto the right. The right leg goes up to the ceiling. Left foot crosses the right thigh. We're going to bend the right leg. Find that stretch one more time. Rib cage is heavy. Tailbone is heavy down to the mat. Feel the springs deep in the stretch. When you're ready, hold on to the rope, extend the right leg up to the ceiling. Find your hamstring stretch here. Good, really flex the foot. You can pull the rope a little bit if you like to. Uncross. Place your left foot down on the sandpaper. Take your right foot out of the strap. Place both feet on the outer corners of the sandpaper or the foot bar. Windshield wiper your knees side to side. Let your knees rock to the side and back. And you are all done. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Please subscribe if you're not yet subscribed and join my membership for weekly workout plans, exclusive videos, and more. Thank you so much to my membership supporters, and extra special thanks to the people who've been here for 6 months or more. I so appreciate everything you guys are doing to support the channel. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you soon.